Hello everyone. Let's look at the third canto of the poem Ode to the West Wind. Why? Because till now we have covered first two cantos of the poem. The first canto shows the impact of the power of the wind on earth, particularly on the leaves and the trees, jungle. Second canto just concentrates on the impact of the power of the wind in the sky, and the third canto concentrates or focuses on the impact of the power of the wind on ocean. See, thou who didst wake up from his summer's dreams. So see, here the Mediterranean Sea is just personified, imagined as a living being. What? Sleeping and dreaming. Summer days. From his summer, from his summer dreams. So here the poet paints paints the picture of the summer season, atmosphere very much pleasant, and in this pleasant and warm atmosphere, the Mediterranean Sea that is personified as a living being was sleeping and dreaming in the past. But now, what has the wind done to it? Done to Mediterranean, that very particular sea that is or that was surrounded on all directions with the continents and the countries, with so many buildings and so many houses and so many other things. So the wind has wakened this blue Mediterranean from his summer dreams, where he lay just absolutely calm and cool. Lay means lie. Just the wind was the Mediterranean Ocean was lying in a very peaceful manner. Lulled means comforted, to comfort someone, or yes, to comfort someone by singing. Generally, we comfort the young, small children by singing. By the quiet of his crystalline means clear streams, means those water bodies that come and straightway flow into the Mediterranean beside a Pumice Isle, that island that came into existence all because of the eruption of a certain volcano that definitely would have destroyed certain city, certain civilization, but at the same time gave birth to a new island in base. This is bay, not day. Bay is a name of a actually ancient city of Rome. So here in the first four lines of the poem, the poet just personifies just blue Mediterranean Sea as as a being, as a human being who is or who was actually sleeping in a very peaceful manner in the pleasant atmosphere of actually summer and dreaming. But the wind comes, and the power of the wind actually agitates, causes the wind to wake up. Means the wind wakes up the Mediterranean. See the power or the impact of the wind. And saw in sleep old palaces and towers, quivering, shaking with the waves' intenser day. So he says that the poet says, see the imagination, see the power of the imagination of the poet, that he imagines that the Mediterranean was sleeping before the coming of the wind and dreaming about dreaming about that time. It had so many towers and so many buildings all around it. But a time came, those buildings, those stars came under the water of the blue Mediterranean, and now they are all overgrown with the plants and trees. See, all overgrown means all covered with azure blue moss, a kind of alga and flowers. So sweet, the sense pains picturing them. He says that those flowers and plants and alga grown, just grown on those on those towers and buildings which are now under the water of the Mediterranean, are actually covered with the plants and trees, and those plants with the flowers grown there, and the smell of the flowers so intoxicating, so powerful, that only by imagining one starts just coming under the impact or the power of that you see intoxicating fragrance of those flowers. So see the beautiful imagination, see the just imagery, strong olfactory imagery used by the poet, that the flowers grown there are so intoxicating in their own smell, that in their own fragrance, that only by thinking about them one starts losing one's own consciousness. Say, thou, from whose path the Atlantic's level bars. Now here he's shifting the power. Now he's showing the power of the wind on the Atlantic Ocean. Thou, for whose path the Atlantic's level bars. Cleave means divide. Just you can say pairs themselves into chasms. Chasms are small or narrow straits or channels. While far below the sea blooms, and the oozy means just dropping out or giving out moisture. Woods means plants or the vegetation grown on the bottom or the bed of the just past this Atlantic Ocean, which were the sapeless means without sap. Sap is that juice that supports the plants to stand erect. Sapless foliage plants of the ocean know. So he says that when this wind blows just over the Atlantic Ocean, the might of the wind is so strong, or the power of the wind is so strong that, or the wind is so strong that it just makes its way through the Atlantic Ocean by breaking the mighty waves, the mighty flow of the water of the ocean into a narrow strait or a narrow channel. See, this is the impact of the wind on the topmost surface of the water of the Atlantic, and see how does it penetrates the mighty depth of the ocean, or the mighty or huge couch of the water of the just Atlantic, and reaches on its bed where there are so many plants grown there without sap, without that juice that sustain them, that make them stand and bear all the complications or the problems. The moment the wind just reaches the bottom of the sea by penetrating its powerful couch of the water, what does happen? Those plants grown over there become aware of the presence of the wind, and the moment they become aware of the presence of the wind destroys them. The wind, before the wind could destroy them, they destroy themselves because they become so afraid because of the presence of the wind. So see the presence and the power of the wind. How does the wind make the powerful elements of the nature dance to its tune? That actually Shelley wants to show. Why? Because Shelley wants to tell that he too is just like the wind, but unfortunately he is just he is he is in the just you can say this most sorrowful phase of his own life, or just a most weak phase of his own life. This is the weakest time of his own life. Because of that, he feels absolutely weak. See, thy voice and suddenly grow grey with fear, and tremble, shake, and destroy themselves. Oh, here again he wants the wind to hear him. Why? Because he wants to use the wind as his messenger, as his agent. That is very powerful, that is uncontrollable, no doubt at all. For a geography teacher, the wind is not tameless. Wind does not move from one place to the other. But for the romantics, everything is possible because of their powerful imagination. Their powerful imagination makes impossible possible. So here in this very particular canto, that is the canto number 3, the poet wants to show the impact of the power of the wind, first on Mediterranean, second on the you can say that Atlantic.